Here are the 4 signs that you need to love yourself more. Plus, I'm also going to give you the only solution that you need in order to come back into the deepest form of self-love that you've ever experienced and magnetize and manifest all of your deepest desires, all of those desires that you have been secretly dreaming of, but you haven't felt worthy enough to receive until now. So this is the first sign that you need to show yourself some more self-love. You say yes to people without checking in with your body first. So when somebody asks you to do something or somebody asks you for something, whether it's a family member, a partner, a colleague, a friend, doesn't really matter who it is, because you are so locked into your people-pleasing nature, you're on autopilot. You automatically jump into action to do or give this person what it is that they're asking for without checking in with yourself first to see if it's something that you actually want to do. So your authority is your body. Your intuition lives in your body. I talk about human design in my work. It's something that I teach and I do readings on it. And in human design, every single person has their own inner authority. They have a specific place in their body where their intuition lives, which is that place from where you are meant to be making your decisions. But if you are saying yes to people without checking in with your authority first, what you're essentially doing is you are making the people outside of you the authority over the decisions that you make. And this comes from being a people pleaser, being an overgiver, being an overshare, or for a lot of you, it's my favorite thing that you love to say. You love to call yourselves empaths. And usually when people call themselves empaths, it's really just an indicator that they have very poor boundaries and a lack of spiritual hygiene. So if you're not checking in with your body first, if you're not checking in with your own inner authority to determine if that's something that you actually want to do, that indicates a disconnection from yourself, and therefore you need to increase your self-love. So everything that I just described in the first sign typically leads to the second sign that you need to show yourself more love. And that is you are always exhausted, irritable, stressed, and depressed. These feelings are a consequence, a very natural consequence of not checking in with your body's authority before engaging in the actions and behaviors that I described in the very first sign. And so what I need you to understand is that you have a beautiful aura that is very attractive. And what it does is it attracts people to you that want to use you. They want to extract from you. They want to mine you as a resource. And by not checking in with your authority and falling into that pattern of people pleasing and overgiving, it leads to you feeling these sensations of being stressed out, not having enough for yourself. And at the end of the day, you wonder why you're so depleted. You wonder why you have an empty cup. You wonder why you don't have room for your own desires. You don't have room for your own hobbies. You don't have room for your own needs. And it's because you're not checking in with your inner authority, thus leaving you feeling stressed out, irritable, and depressed. That irritability that you get, even though you're usually directing that irritability and that resentment towards other people, really that irritability is towards yourself, because you know deep down inside that you're not honoring yourself, but because you're not willing to step outside of the pattern of people pleasing that you've been holding on to for your whole life, you direct that irritability towards other people, but really you're mad at yourself for not honoring yourself. Number 3, you have a lot of negative experiences with men. Whether it's negative experiences in the early stages of dating and courtship, negative experiences in your relationships, negative experiences with just men in general. And this ranges from men using you for sex, men not pouring into you, men taking and extracting resources from you, or at the very worst, men abusing you, whether it's physically, sexually, emotionally, financially. All of these are indicators that you need to show yourself more self-love, because what you're doing is you are engaging with, entertaining, and giving your energy to men that do not deserve to even be in the same space as you. The thing that a lot of women don't understand is that 99% of men do not deserve to be breathing the same oxygen as you. And yet you are giving them your energy, you're giving them your attention, and you're wondering why you keep having all of these negative experiences. And for many women, it's because of the conditioning that we have through patriarchy, through being raised by male identified mothers or having a lot of male identified women in our family, and just the conditioning around centering men in our lives. It teaches us that we are not whole, or we are incomplete, or that our life's purpose hasn't been fulfilled unless we are connected to a man, which leads you to attracting all kinds of experiences with men, and it prevents you from knowing how and when to walk away from situations with men that do not serve you. And then the fourth sign is that you feel guilt or shame or worse, unworthiness for having needs and for having desires. This is probably the hardest thing because a lot of women don't recognize that the reason why their lives look the way that they do in terms of them not being satisfied with the lives that they're currently living is because they don't feel worthy of more. But the thing is that women, we are abundance incarnate. We are literally the embodiment of abundance. We can create literal life from our womb space. We can take the smallest kernel, the smallest seed, and turn it into a life form. So this idea that you are unworthy of having your desires is a result of you not having that self-love. It's a result of you not trusting in your ability to manifest, to create something from nothing. It's a result of you not believing in yourself. And when you feel unworthiness or shame for having desires, what you're doing is you're inadvertently cutting yourself off from source. You're cutting yourself off from the limitless womb of possibility from which you can attract anything that it is that you desire. And what it does is it creates a circumstance where you're actually repelling and pushing away the things that you desire because you don't feel worthy of them. There is nothing that is meant for you that you can actually receive, but you have to have the capacity to hold it. And this is why a lot of you will attract really incredible things into your lives, but then these things will fall away or they'll crumble away because deep down inside, there's this belief about yourself being unworthy of having the thing that it is that you've called in, which causes you to self-sabotage, it causes you to repel that thing, or it causes you to engage in behaviors that result in you losing the very thing that it was that you wanted because you didn't feel that you were worthy of it, and you didn't have the capacity to hold it when it actually showed up for you. Okay, let's take a deep breath. I know that if you're watching this video, then at the very least one, if not all of these signs that I just shared with you feel painfully familiar. And if any of these signs feel painfully familiar to you, then I'm going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do in order to get out of that pain and into the pleasure of living a life that is unbelievable. Also, there's a bird that is making music and having a very intense conversation outside my window right now. So y'all are just going to have to bear with me with the bird in the background. But anyway, if any of these signs that I just shared with you feel familiar, painfully familiar, and I want you to listen up because I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in order to anchor into really deep self-love, the most incredible transformative self-love that you have ever experienced. And the way that you're going to do this is by doing exactly what you've always been told not to do. You ready? You're going to be selfish. Yeah. Not only are you going to be selfish, you're going to be selfish as fuck. And the reason why you're going to be selfish is because, number one, women have been conditioned, and I'm sure a lot of you have this experience from the time you're a little girl. You need to share, you need to give them a hug, you need to play with them. All of these things that we're told from a young age and conditioned to do, or else we're considered selfish. Well, don't do that because that's selfish. Don't say that because that's selfish. Don't hold on to that for yourself because that's selfish. The reason why we're conditioned as little girls to see selfishness as something that's inherently bad is because the people that are depending on us to be a resource for them to extract from need us to believe that selfishness as inherently bad. Because on the flip side, when you are selfish, when you are focusing on yourself, when you are focusing on your own goals, your own dreams, your own desires, when you're seeing yourself as the source of your happiness, when you're seeing yourself as the source of all of your needs being met, what happens is you focus so heavily on yourself that you begin to say no to anything and anyone that will distract you from what it is that is meant for you. And when you say no to anything and anyone that is going to distract you from exactly what is meant from you, those very people who are depending on you to think of selfishness as a bad thing will lose access to you as a resource. That's why they want you to be selfless versus selfish. Being selfish is the ultimate act of self-love. The only thing that you have in this life is yourself. Everything outside of you is transient, it is impermanent, and none of it belongs to you. It can be taken away like that. People move out of your life, friendships end, relationships end, people die, people move away, you fall out with people, you lose objects, people's things get stolen, or you just let go of things because you're no longer interested in them or your tastes change. But the only thing that you have that belongs to you, that is actually yours, that you actually have control over, is yourself. So by being selfish and by focusing on yourself, by aligning with your purpose, by recognizing that you come here for a very specific mission, a very specific soul's mission, you are engaging in the most profound act of self-love. Women have been conditioned for centuries to see selfishness as an inherently bad thing because, like I was saying before, it gives users and abusers unfettered access to your life force energy, your precious life force energy, your finite life force energy. And so by you learning to be selfish, by you learning to focus on yourself, what you're doing is you're cutting those cords and you're calling back your energy to yourself, so that you can use it to manifest what it is that you desire versus using it to manifest the desires for everybody around you who ultimately don't care if they deplete you because they're getting exactly what they want from you. And this societal conditioning, what it's designed for, it's to instill a sense of fear in you. It's to make you afraid of being seen as selfish, or even worse, a bitch, because there's nothing worse than being a selfish bitch, right? But what does that fear get you in the end? It gets you a life full of regret. It gets you a life full of resentment, and it forces you to face the agony of having betrayed your own needs over and over and over again. So I'm here to tell you to release your hold on this fear of being seen as selfish or being seen as a bitch, because it's not serving you in the end. The only person that it's serving, or the only people that it's serving, are those around you who need you to give up your connection to yourself so that they can use you for what it is that they desire from you. So if you're ready to reclaim your life and your energy and your power, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you exactly how being selfish will fully align you to your powerful mission so that you can live a life of love and service and pour into the people around you from a place of abundance and overflow, as opposed to a place of depletion and having overgiven and overextended yourself. A lot of you that are watching this video are light workers. A lot of you are healers. A lot of you are warriors that have been born into this lifetime in order to fulfill a very powerful mission of service. But the thing is that a part of your mission is learning how to stand in your own power so that you can be in service from a place of being empowered, as opposed to being in a place of servitude. Because a lot of you are walking around like servants rather than being warriors of service for the divine. And there's a huge difference between those two. So what I want to introduce you to is my workshop that I love to teach women just like you, and it's called Selfish Bitch. And I'm sure the name doesn't surprise you given what it is that I'm talking about. And so all of the details for my workshop are down below. And I really want you to come to this workshop because it's going to be a deep dive into exactly how selfishness is a deeper gateway into magnetic self-love and abundance, and how you're going to attract all of the things that are meant for you to fulfill your soul's mission from that place of aligning to your vision and letting go of saying no to anything that is not in alignment with that mission. I'm also going to be teaching you about the esoterics, the ancient herstory, the knowledge that has been hidden from women as a means of disconnecting you from your power. I'm going to talk to you about how to navigate relationships with men from a place of power so that you can attract men who are in their embodied masculine, who will pour into you. And I'm going to tell you exactly why exactly why men are so deeply attracted to women. And it's not just about sex, it is so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than what it is that you've been told to believe about the relationship between the sexes. When I teach this class to women, it is mind-blowing for the women that are in this class because it's information that most of you have never heard before, or you've never heard it to the extent that it is that I share. And in addition to the specifics around selfishness and how it anchors you into self-love and magnetism, and telling you how to really artfully and confidently and ruthlessly navigate your relationships with men, I'm also going to teach you how this is going to help you call in your soul tribe. Because a lot of you are lonely. A lot of you don't feel like you're in a community. A lot of you feel like the black sheep in your families. A lot of you feel like the black sheep in your communities, and you're wondering, where are my people? Where are my people? But the reason why you can't find your people is because they can't see you. And the reason why they can't see you is because you're not being your true, authentic self. And so in this workshop, I'm going to teach you all of these things so that you can call in your soul tribe, call in your soul family, call in that aligned partnership, and connect to the purpose that's meant for you, instead of walking the path that was laid out for you by somebody else, the path that somebody else told you to walk because they were going to benefit from you walking that path. So the purpose of this is to bring you back into union with yourself so that you can share your magic with the world, so that you can be your true authentic self, so you can stop being in the manipulation of people pleasing and be in the authenticity of your true expression. So if any of this resonates with you, if you feel activated by this and you're ready to step into this new version of yourself, then I want you to come and take my workshop. I'm actually going to be teaching it 3 times in March in just a few weeks. I'm going to be teaching it twice in Houston on March 8th and on March 9th. And I'm going to be teaching it virtually over Zoom on March 16th. All of the details can be found in the description box below. And if you happen to come across this video after the time that I teach these over Zoom or live in Houston, I will be recording that virtual session that I'm teaching on the 16th and making that available for purchase as a replay. So if that link is not down below, it will be down in the description box below very soon after I teach that virtual session. So I hope that this video resonated with you. I hope that you feel seen, and I hope that you understand that if any of these 4 signs that you need to love yourself more apply to you, there is a very real, very effective, and very powerful way that you can come into alignment with yourself, that you can connect to that sense of deep, true, ruthless self-love that will allow you to be fully grounded in your soul's mission and call in the people that are here to love you unconditionally, to support you, and allow you to cultivate that community that it is that you've been wanting to call in for yourself. So I love you. I thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.